My love for you is immeasurable. My respect for you immense. Welcome to Ageless and Timeless, Her Holiness, and thank you so much for sharing with us today your wisdom. I'd like to start with a question for you, if that would be okay. And that question is one that our viewers always want to know, and that is, how did you go from A to B? How did you get to where you are today? And what has been the spectacular events in your journey?
Spectacular events will be two. One will be the day I step my foot in the Western countries in Europe, where I studied and get all my knowledge moving intellectually. And the second one is when I met my guru.
So can you tell us a little more about those two events? I know you lived in France. I know you speak fluent French, and I know you were very active in Bordeaux, which is one of my favorite cities, by the way, in France. I love Bordeaux. And it's actually had a renaissance recently because of the train coming from Paris and the real estate. Yeah. So so tell us give us a little more specifics about how these two events have shaped your life.
First, I was supposed to go to Cambridge Medical School in England. And a month before this, I heard this gorgeous sound, vibration, and I felt something inside of me. And I went back home to my parents and I said, I'm not going to England, I'm going to France, which was a disaster for them because I was going to France to be a nanny, an au pair girl.
Mm-hmm.
Not a nanny, but an au pair girl. And learn French, learn how to be in the Western world, missing my family, everything just starting to move deep inside of me. I cried for 6 months. Every single day, call my parents every single day for 6 months. Because the Indian culture, we have a tendency to be really very close and nearly locked to each other. So that was very difficult. And one day my dad said, didn't you wanted this experience? I said, yes. He said, then stop crying. I stopped crying. I study as much as possible, wish to be always like, how can I become like everything that I see around me? How can I live in the West? For to live in the West, I have to bathe myself in the culture. So I start literature. I mean, everything. I just bathe myself and jump into everything and travel like this. You're speaking of train. I love traveling in Europe in train, and I visited many countries, and I said, I have this phenomenal opportunity. I do not use the word challenges too much. I think even because you see, for me, everything is energy. A word is energy. The more I say I have a challenge, the more the subconscious, the unconscious, the conscious can go and limit our experience. So for me, everything is about really opportunity for new experience that elevate my system, that elevate my consciousness. And then from there, many things. I crossed the Atlantic on a sailboat that was built by friends, all of us together, and travel on a sailboat, live on a sailboat for 3 months. Many great things. I met the father of my children and beautiful children. Everything was just happening the way that will make me extremely happy. And I was extremely happy. But sometime I will have this emptiness that I could not explain. I could never explain it. And I keep asking to myself, to my soul, to my energy, what is it that I'm not getting? What is it that is in my life that is missing? And I had everything you can imagine. Plus, every time I will bring a child to the planet, I will get a new car, I'll get jewelry. So I had everything. And at that time, I was among the first women with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross to speak of other life experience, that death doesn't really exist. So I was in a panel one day with many men, and after I finished speaking, I came out of stage. A man ran to me and said, "I have to give you this." And it was a little passport photo. And I look and I say, "I have to meet that man. I must meet that man." And that man has a big hair like this, like an African Afro hair. And that was my guru. But I did not know. So right away, in the same week, I flew to India, to South India. And when I saw him, I said, "Why am I here?" Even though in the picture I saw the hair, but when I was there physically, it looked like I was in Africa. I said, I didn't come here to be with an African man. I want an Indian guru. The moment I said that, I said, "I love Jesus. I love Krishna. What am I here? Why am I here?" And right away, Satya Sai Baba showed me himself as Krishna with the flute. Then his face turned into Jesus' face, into Krishna's face. And I'm like, and I realized that this is my place. I bow on the ground, and I have never been the same.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
Never doubt, never. Everything that I had was all love, material, but love of human love, not the divine love. It was all love, love of the partner, love of the children, love of my students, love of the clients and patients. Love. I was in politics with two different presidents in France, Mitterrand and Chirac. I have people who love me. And I was still looking until I found Satya Sai Baba, who has this love that we can imagine, the love of creation, the love that has no condition to it, the love that no matter what I will do, I am loved. And I knew it at that moment after I bowed my head on the floor. And he shifted my consciousness completely. And being so empowered starting then. And my journey is my guru's grace, my guru's empowerment in me, my guru's shifting my consciousness. That's my life today as well. And if I'm in the Sadhu society as a Jagadguru today, it's also because of my guru.
That's so beautiful. So what do you say to people who ask you about life purpose, and they say, "How do I know what is my life purpose?" And I'm sure you've had people across all cultures ask you that question, because people sometimes get lost and they're searching and they don't know how to find who they are and why they came here. I feel like everybody has a reason for being. And I'm just curious to know, how do you answer that question that, if we have life, we have purpose, but sometimes people do not always know what that life purpose is. So how do you guide them?
My first response is, do not ever ask somebody else what's your life purpose. This is dependency. No. The first thing to do is sit in silence. Have a clear question, your intent, your clear question, what is my life purpose? Then I will tell them to take moments of stillness as long as they need, and every day if needed. This is second. The third thing is, when this question doesn't come to everybody, by the way, when it comes to you, stop a moment and say, what is the meaning of the question? Because in the grand design, Michele, in the grand design, there's only one purpose for the human system. It's enlightenment. And then after enlightenment, it's ascension. Awakening happens every day and at all time. In a relationship can awaken you, a disease can awaken you. But the real purpose is to remember who we are, and to be a manifestation of who we are, to be the embodiment of who we are in our essence, in our authenticity, in our divinity, in our godliness, so that we can be the embodiment of that. This is the real purpose. Beside this, let's say you don't wish to be enlightened. That also happened because it's not in the contract of incarnation. Then what you do is really be so joyous in life. Really allow your light to expand, your consciousness to expand, and serve others. Serve you first. Put your seatbelt first. Put the oxygen mask in the plane first. Then serve others. Because every human has needs, whether it's to be significant, whether to have food, shelter, to be loved, to love. And this fulfillment, every human look for fulfillment, no matter what level. Not only be happy, not only be satisfied, but be fulfilled. So when you serve others, there's a big disease for me in humanity. The disease is being selfish. When you serve with no expectation, Michele, this is magnificent. This is when you don't expect a thank you. You don't expect the person to send you a card or an email or a text to tell you thank you. You have served as you see the divinity, the God, the light, the consciousness in the other. You serve that and you are complete with no expectation. This is pure fulfillment.
By Eric Fromm and the Art of Loving. I don't know if you know that book, but he says in giving, we receive the greatest gift. And
you see,
and that is
I hear this several times in different interviews. Give, you receive. I say to everybody, drop the receive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't even, because there's an expectation there in the backyard.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Drop it. Just give for the sake of giving.
Giving. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Nothing else. Just give. Give a glass of water. Give a piece of bread. Feed people. Give clothes. It's amazing how you. So what happens? Now I'm going to go into another level, esoteric level. When you serve without any condition,
mm-hmm.
you receive the blessings of the souls.
Mm.
This blessing go into your field, into your consciousness, into you, and most humans don't know they're receiving a blessing because they don't see what they're receiving. I suggest really drop the receiving. Now, psychologically, that's another level of work. Psychologically, one is balanced when one knows when to receive, when to give, or how to receive, how to give, which means that you're receiving, you give at the same time. One hand is for receiving, one hand is for giving. Keep giving. You will be receiving automatically. Now, if somebody doesn't know how to receive, this same person will not know how to give. Goes together. Does that make sense to you, Michele?
Absolutely. And you said something earlier that really touched me, and that is that when we look at the universe with abundance, if we say we want something, that's usually a sense of lack. But if we look at the universe as totally giving, then then we are coming from the mindset of abundance, and that means that we will manifest that which is abundant. So, segue on that question, on that statement, to the world as it is today. We have been through probably two of the most difficult years in our lifetime, yours and my lifetime anyway, with the pandemic, with all the other uncertainties. And by the way, that word uncertainty, I think characterizes where people are today. You know, uncertainty about where they're going to get their next meal, uncertainty about filling their gas tank, uncertainty about the war that's raging in Ukraine that could spread, and you know, I mean, I don't want to think of all the negatives, and I don't want to be political, but I want to go, you know, just kind of
awareness. It's
paint the
awareness
picture of the universe as it is today. And here you are, the Divine Mother, is preaching love and hope and kindness and giving, and you're fighting, or not fighting, but you're doing all of your teaching and you're giving unconditionally in a world that seems to be resistant to your message. So my question to you is, how do you stay so positive and how do you keep persisting despite the fact that there's so much negativity and resistance to your message?
First, I do not function with negativity. Second, I'm not certain that people are resisting my message. When you love, every single human wishes to be loved. When I give love, every single person who experienced this love has been wishing and waiting and wanting this love for centuries. Nobody can really fight love. Nobody can fight the heart. The mind, yes, because the mind is limited. Why am I in that state all the time, no matter what? The tsunami happens, I'm here to serve, and I'm still in that state of bliss. My consciousness has become this. It's called Satchitanand consciousness state. This is my consciousness. Sometimes I do pretend to be mad. I do that so that people listen and then they change. They do something else. Because if I smile all the time, it doesn't work. They forget. They don't do what they're supposed to do. But that state, you see, be the blue sky. No matter how many clouds come there. Stay focused, attach yourself, stay with the blue sky and do everything from that place. This is a phenomenal teaching I give. Because there is nothing else, Michele. There is nothing else.
How do you deal with sadness?
Sadness is because you are or in the past or in the future. In the future, because let's start with the future. In the future, because you expect, let's say you expect me to do something and I don't do it and you are sad. And you will carry this sadness in this relationship, not only with us, but in your life. Because there's a lack of awareness. The key to life, to be fully who one is awareness. That's it. The moment you're aware, oh, I'm not breathing properly. Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, I'm doing that. Oh, I'm resentful. Any awareness is the key. The moment you are aware, become aware that there's only two energies on planet Earth. One is fear, which contracts. One is love, which expands. So the moment we are aware, oh, okay, take a breath. Let me get in my heart, open my heart completely, and then experience myself. The moment you experience that, you will feel that alignment with all that is. Like at 6 o'clock. And you will want yourself to be in this. So this is called sadhana in Sanskrit. Sadhana means spiritual practice. Because the moment you go into your heart, this is when you are with your spirit, you're with your soul, you're with your light, with your consciousness. The one who has a hard time to be in the heart, it's all about lower frequencies, which is also called negativity, lower frequencies, and you are in the mud. You're very difficult to come out of this.
Well, because we are all energetic beings, and And that's interesting because we look at chemistry between people or among people, and so much of that is the energy that we each, I guess you call that our aura, right? That energy that surrounds us. And very often you find I'm a business executive, and I find that there are times when I do not feel an energetic connection with another human being. And I'm curious to know, if you have that experience with someone, how do you overcome that, basically obstacle of lack of connection? Because when it's the other way, it's absolutely one of the most exhilarating experiences you can have in life. So they call it chemistry, but
thank you, Michele. This is a very important point. Let me see if my office can show you two different auric fields. The one where you have all the stuff in it and the one that is clear. If Triveni or Heather could show that to Michele, I will appreciate. So first, we have to be in a healthy relationship with us. When we are in a healthy relationship with us, we are balanced. Our both brain hemisphere balance. Our energy on the right side represent the masculine, the left side, the feminine balance. There will be a coherence in our auric field, naturally. In that, we are in total alignment with our higher self, our godly self, our supreme soul, etc., with our soul. We are in alignment. The key is alignment. When we are in alignment with ourselves, balance with ourselves, that means we are healthy in our mental body, in the auric field, the etheric body in the auric field. We are healthier physically, and as well as emotionally, emotional health, all in coherence. Then we have our spiritual health, which is also take us into that place of light. We are being, as you said, we're energetic being. What does that mean exactly? That means that we are made of energy. This energy can vibrate to a higher frequency or lower frequency. Higher frequency, we will go towards our soul life, our soul energy, our higher self energy, our Atma, our godliness. Lower energy will mean that we go towards ego self. Now remember, ego need to exist when we are young, until the age of probably 18, 20, when we have completed our study, that we are pushed to succeed. That's the ego self, which is also important. I gave a speech many years ago on the birth of ego and the dissolution of ego. So if you wish to be in a high vibration, only spirit. This is the key to shift. Earlier, you shared about how difficult it has been for people to, during the COVID. I will use COVID as an opportunity to go inward, to know oneself. We were locked in. That's not a coincidence. If you wish to be enlightened, your path is to go inward. Never blame anybody. Do not criticize anyone. Go inward. What's happening to me? Why am I scared? Do I have enough faith? What's happening? Do I call on my soul? Do I know there's a spirit in my life? Do I know I'm never alone? I'm surrounded by my guides, a whole invisible world. But of course, that requires knowledge. It was or it is difficult. I don't say no. But let us not dramatize. Use it for the purpose of our elevation, our illumination of consciousness. And to shift our language, to shift our limited thoughts. What about if I say, oh, I'm going to be in for 2 weeks? Let me create something about myself. Let me take a day just for me and journal everything. Be creative more than reactive. If you look at these two, I learned English very late, but I look at these two words, creative, reactive, the same letters. Just shift gear and move into that place of creation. We have everything we need on this planet, Michele, to be the embodiment of light. So when we say we are energy, we are made of light, sound, and vibration or energy. It depends where we vibrate. If I vibrate here, I'm not speaking of positive thinking. That's not my game here. If I vibrate here, I will resonate to everything around me on that vibration. I'm the mirror of my world. So I will mirror this. Mirroring is an old system in Europe. We've learned this, I think, 45 years ago or 50, about mirroring. So everything in my world is my mirror. It's so magnificent to see every human being, Michele, is such a beautiful, a magnificent, a gorgeous light, consciousness, beauty, purity, innocence. But because human is so used to go outside of them, they forget to look here. So I invite all your audience, every single person who is going to hear these words, learn to go inside. Realize, oh, I'm breathing too fast. Let me calm my breath. Let me sigh. Let me inhale slowly. Hold. This holding space is the state of enlightenment. And then exhale slowly. 1, 2 minutes, 10 times, 100 times a day, your life is transformed.
The French philosopher Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, who said we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Correct.
And how do you define spirituality, and do you agree with that statement?
100%. To be matter, the highest frequency has had to come down to be a manifestation of matter. Now, in each cell of our system, there is a sparkle of light, or else there will be no ascension per se from matter. Whether it's Jesus, whether it's many great siddhas from India, from the Himalayas or South India, has ascended in their from their physicality. Mm-hmm. All the ascended masters, we all have been human, and in every cell there is a sparkle of light. Imagine when these trillion cells start to pulsate their light and then expand their light, what will happen? Together with this, the DNA has the power to release its light, its consciousness, its divinity. You look at your DNA, 3 to 5% will do the chemistry work. The rest is quantum. The rest is divinity. The rest is creation. Everything, who you are today, Michele, and any human being has the potentiality to expand his or her light with consciousness and be a being of light. My student has seen me disappear into light on stage. There's a technique to come back. It's the silver cord to work with. And I can leave my body anytime and go into other galaxies, into other universe, into other realities, and bring the energy here for the enlightenment of this planet. It's fascinating if every human will realize their spiritual potentiality, every human carry spirit, carry this I am presence. Most humans don't use them because lack of. Now, I have to say, since human was created, remember, every matter has been created. It's not organic, has been created. There's a program to it. And from different civilization. But only recently that our brothers and sisters from the Pleiadians has come to initiate the matter into divine consciousness. And that time has come now. We have shift paradigm several years ago. 2012, the planet was not the same. The human consciousness was not the same. And now we are receiving tremendous amount of cosmic consciousness to shift, and humanity is shifting faster than they can imagine. So people are changing because of this higher frequency energy. They may not know what's happening to them. The key is relax in it. Relax. Surrender to it. Surrender or to the light or to the new paradigm, the new era. In the Indian culture, it's called Yuga. We are shifting from an old Yuga and towards a new Yuga, which means now we are in a place of transition. So we don't know how to be, how to function. We are here, we are there. It's not settled. It's like the contraction before women give birth. Similar to that. There's a beauty coming. Do not pay too much attention to the so-called war that's going on. It's not a third world war. No. It's a war between light and darkness. Have more compassion. Bless the situation, bless the countries, bless the people who are ready to press on a button because the mind is where it is. The selfishness is where it is. So let us bless that. Let us pour love and light into it. Now, I have to tell you, sometimes darkness will rebel when you put light into it. Nevertheless, do not judge. Please do not judge. Keep loving. Whether it's Russia, whether it's Ukraine, keep loving. Whether it's Afghanistan, keep loving. Whether it's this religion with this religion, keep loving both. Because even religion will have to come to an end. So spirituality will take over. Because if you take a child who is black color and a white color, Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Jain, etc., Protestant, they don't know any of this. They love each other. So our innate, our inner being doesn't look at each other with the separation of religion. This is old paradigm, the separation. Bring everybody together in one group and create a concert. Everybody will be happy. They'll forget what religion they are, what color they are. We are all the same. It's the same spirit, the same I am presence in every single one of us. Let us acknowledge that within us. Oh, Michele, you are my own I am presence. I remember when we spoke, we were just like this. There was no separation at all.
I know. In fact, when I got off that call with you the first time, I felt so enlightened and light. I mean, like light was shining all around me. I felt like I had just walked in the grace of a beautiful spirit, and I, somehow entered that universe. But I'm very sensitive and very intuitive, so a lot of what you said and shared affected me in a very deep way. And I'm sure not everyone reacts in that way right away, because some people are more resistant, but I was very much like a sponge. I just wanted to feel and absorb your beauty, and it totally affected me. My whole day was completely full of joy and positivity, just because I had walked on your path, across your path.
And we spoke for 5 minutes.
I know. Well, it was a little longer, but thank you to our good friend James, Dr. Stockson, right, for introducing us. But yes, no. Well, tell me more about gratitude, or tell about my viewers about gratitude, because honestly, I mean, maybe what I just said to you was my feeling of gratitude for the universe allowing me to share with another human being so much of what resonates with me, but yet you've gone, eons ahead of most people in the world to achieve who you are and what you are, but it's all been divinely determined. But so, what I felt was a huge gratitude. And by the way, every day, I have a gratitude journal. Every day I write five things in my journal before I start my day. I learned that from Oprah Winfrey, who I think is hugely influential to me. She's so spiritually connected and has never lost her humility despite her success. And that's what I feel with you as well, for a very different reason. But anyway, so that gratitude journal grounds me every day. It makes me count my blessings, not my troubles. It makes me feel so positive to start every single day with a feeling of grace and fulfillment and bliss, that I think I would share that with all my viewers, that if you can get a journal and just start your day that way, don't do anything else before you do your journal, and then you are moving forward on that enlightenment platform that you just described. So anyway, with that long-winded introduction, how do you define gratitude?
Gratitude for me is an attitude of grace.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at life with an attitude of grace, mm-hmm. Many human has this attitude of ego towards everything. Mm-hmm. So let us change this. Mm-hmm. And let us look at everything with an attitude of grace. Recently, a young man said something very, very touching and humbling. He said, I am so grateful I can sit. Mm. This was something for me. Mm. We take the fact that we can walk and stand for granted. Mm-hmm. Mm. We take the fact that we can drive a car at any moment like this for granted. We take the fact that we have food for granted.
Mm-hmm. And water. Yeah.
Water. So what about if we live our life with an attitude of grace every day, every moment, every moment, whether it's this camera that's working, whether it's my staff that's working, your staff, electricity, solar panel, anything. Oh, I'm so grateful. At a point, we're going to be grateful to life itself. In this attitude of grace all the time. Now, recently a person who has, I don't know whether I should say has been or is well known, asked me, what is the difference between thank you and gratitude? Totally different. Thank you is more mind. It's intellect. It's intellectual, it's mental. Thank you. I'm so grateful. There's a moment where you have experienced a moment of feeling in it. And the healing is the heart. So bring the heart in everything you do. You will appreciate the people you live with more. You will appreciate your colleagues more, your neighbors, anybody, the trees on your property, the water in your house, everything. You'll be so appreciative. And it's not about saying, I appreciate you doing this for me. This is the mind. This is mental. It has to have a feeling in it. And this is where the planet is going into her enlightenment, into her awakening, where there is this feeling of love for each other. Where we look at each other. That's what my guru taught me at the beginning about 40 years ago. Look at everybody you meet as you are meeting me. Now I understand that. At that time, I didn't understand it. So I know what it is to think intellectually for something. You will never judge when you can give your opinion, then you say it in front of the person and to the person. That's different. But the judgment is so lower frequency that it take you out of your centeredness, out your alignment. And when you are so grateful, you will always see a quality in the life of somebody else. All the time. It can be a beggar. I know I have been in contact with enlightened beggars. It's amazing. Or in the marketplace to see somebody who's selling their vegetables. This person is enlightened and so humble and so beautiful and so grateful to life. You spoke of the COVID earlier. If we could all be grateful that we're alive right now, this will change us completely.
Right.
And all this will happen. There's more situation coming, more diseases coming, only to wake up the low consciousness of human system.
Well, I'm glad that you're mentioning COVID again, only not because of COVID, but because I wanted to segue to something else, a subject that is very important to me and I think to the world, and that is anti-aging and health and longevity, because without your health, what else really do you have? So could you speak for a little moment here about your willingness to help heal people from actually physical illness, as well as their mental and spiritual and emotional?
The first thing, for instance, when I give darshan, I read all the energy around people before even their physical. This is where everything is located. It can create craters or a sphere, color, or a sort of void in the auric field. Before anybody is sick physically, there is a weakness in the auric field. So because, as you said earlier, we are made of energy, your energy speaks for you. Yes, I was recently invited by Mr. Goldman in the anti-aging Congress, at the anti-aging Congress. And I did say to everybody who spoke to me, I am not into anti-aging. It doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not anti to anything. But age reversal, yes. Graceful, yes. Longevity, yes. Why? Because I'm convinced deep inside of my cellular structure, in my DNA, we all can live 1,000 years and more. Because our frequency has gone so low, that's why death exists. Death of the matter, not of the soul. The soul never dies. The soul is an aspect of the Supreme Soul. Or you can say the soul is an aspect of God in you, a slice of God in your physicality, even, I could say. Your soul is bigger than your body. You live in your soul. So now, how can we manage to live healthier, longer, and more graceful in the aging process? We cannot prevent the aging for now. There will be a time when any human will be able to be at 25, at 35, whatever they choose, and stay the same.
Well, I love the concept of chronological versus biological age, because, you know, and you embody the essence of biological age being far more compelling than chronological age, and nobody could guess. And you did share with me your chronological age. Nobody could guess. Nobody in the world would ever guess, and that's because you live biologically by the DNA and the cellular attitude.
Yes, the light and the consciousness in the DNA.
And that's
you think light all the time. You think consciousness. You think good for the world. You think good for everybody. Even if somebody criticizes you, it's okay. No issue.
Well, I do applaud Dr. Robert Goldman. He was a guest on my podcast few weeks back, and I think he's an amazing human being for what he
Correct.
accomplished. And Dr. Stockson, who has also been a guest on my podcast. So you're in good company. I just want you to know. But they're coming from much more technical acumen in terms of their craft, in terms of
Correct.
being physically involved in the human body. You come from a more spiritual
From a consciousness level, yes.
Consciousness level, right.
And I don't do any surgery. Please know that. I don't do any surgery.
Right. I know, it's amazing. You're amazing.
But also what I eat is different. I have a tendency to be on green juice or to be on green smoothies or very little sugar. Nevertheless, I enjoy my French pastry every now and then.
Right. You don't deprive yourself and you don't feel like you're coming from any lack, but yet you feel free enough to do what your spirit is guiding you to do, and that is discipline about knowing those. It's a knowingness about what is good for you, and I feel the same way. I don't know where that blessing comes from, but early on.
Well, you have been a great priestess when you were Egyptian in one of your Egyptian lives, so there's wisdom in that. And the Egyptian works a lot on immortality, if you recall.
And why do you say that? That's very interesting. I'd like to hear a little bit more about that. How do you know Egyptian?
Because I look at you and I see.
Oh, that's interesting.
When I look at you, it's like seeing a kaleidoscope in front of me. There's multiple. You see, there's no past life. You carry everything in your DNA, and your DNA will create your auric field. So I can read everything in it.
Well, that's a lot of responsibility. Thank you for allowing me to share that part of the priestess part. I mean, and you and I both share the empowerment of women in this world, and we both know that it's time, and it has been time for women to ascend to levels of responsibility and power and making a difference in the world that both you and I are passionate about doing. So I thank you again for that. Tony.
Well, if I may share just a moment of a very unique experience I had one day. I was shown how the planet was created and what was happening. The leaders were women at the beginning when the human form started, from like beings, etc., etc. So women started the leadership. And then, yes, the gender situation come, and then men took over. But look what condition is the planet right now. So women are going to take over again. What I will say is that no women must be feminist.
I agree.
Be the balance of feminine and masculine divine. It's all through the brain, through the side of the body, and bring balance. Balance is the key to everything. If we're too much intellectual, not spiritual, it doesn't work. Not even, I shouldn't even say spiritual. I could say the heart. Bring the heart and the brain in oneness, in coherence.
Well, that's the yin and the yang, right? And being able, that's balance. And actually, when I look at a man who I am interested in, I always look for that yin, the feminine, as well as I always love the masculine man in terms of, the physical prowess, the athleticism, all the fitness.
Yes.
However, the balance of if a man is able to actually show vulnerability and emotion, and to be able to, and intuitiveness, those are qualities that are yin qualities that women are known to possess in higher concentration. So I always feel like if there's a man who has that, how blessed is he?
Yes.
And how blessed am I?
Yes.
In his
vulnerability company. Is the key. Most men, even women, will think it's being weak. No, no, no.
No.
Vulnerable is when you feel, you sense, you're sensitive, and your heart is open and free all the time.
And you trust. If you trust
it goes
another
together.
human being,
It goes together because your heart is open.
Right. I know we're going to run out of some time here. Tony just flashed me, so I want to be sure that we cover your upcoming events. And I also want our viewers to know that you have been so generous, and Heather, your assistant, and I have been working on this to offer our viewers the opportunity to share in your beautiful product called I Am Unstoppable, which I love. I love that name. And that is a homeopathic formula that if you could just take a moment to tell us two things. One, a little bit about how that product can help people and how they can get that. I know you've offered, maybe you don't know this, but Heather did offer 20% discount for people.
Yes, I don't know this.
Well, you have an incredible person working for you, and she's very confident.
The power of homeopathy is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Homeopathy is the only remedy which will come and give a signal to your system. If you take a homeopathic for brain, for liver, it will go to the liver and say what to do. It is very connected to your body intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
You have your body, which is a different consciousness than your soul.
Mm-hmm.
The body is connected with the first time when you become a physical body. What it does, it is connected with your homeopathic connection, and it's empowered, it is charged, it is blessed to clear the obstacle that's coming into your system. And it allows you, it gives you this information to open yourself to take action. So, and you take action sometimes non-logically. It will just come out of your heart suddenly because your soul is supporting you, because your higher self is supporting you, your I am presence is supporting you, your guides from different incarnations are supporting you. So this is a signaling energy, frequency that will come to you and tell you, you will feel inside this impulse that takes you here or there. It's so beautiful.
That's called,
also, I've created some Tesla device, which again increase your frequency. I have a Tesla device in my fridge, so I don't have to bless the food or enlighten the food every time I take it.
Can our viewers order that as well as the
certainly.
So how can they access your site? Can you just give us your site?
Certainly, absolutely, certainly. The website, we'll write it for you. It's www.sai-maa.com. Okay. And you have all the information. I'll be in Colorado very soon.
Right, in Vail.
After 2.5 or 3 years, I think I'll be physical in a program.
Yeah. So to tell us about Vail and about Florida, the two events that are upcoming, and then we're going to have to end.
Magnificent for Vail. Vail is our home, where, because I used to live in Colorado and the headquarters is still in Colorado. So Vail is a big thing for us. It's our community, it's our gathering, it's our oneness, it's our brothers, sisters, loving and caring for each other, where you walk around, everybody is in bliss.
Well, just so you know, I lived in Aspen off and on as a developer for 10 years.
Lovely.
I built 6 homes in Aspen during that time, and I love Colorado. I made it my point to go every weekend to a different place in Colorado.
Yes.
And, the mountains give you so much clarity. And, I found, I've also lived in Hawaii, which is another very spiritual place in the world. But in
Crestone,
Hawaii,
our ashram used to be in Crestone.
Oh, Okay.
And we used to have an academy institution in Boulder.
Right. Well, Boulder, of course, is famous for its spiritual connections.
Colorado is a great portal. It's a great
Yeah.
portal.
Yes.
So we will be in Vail, and then we'll be in Denver for Guru Purnima, which is a very unique celebration, Guru Purnima, which is the biggest full moon of the year to celebrate from darkness to light.
And this is on your website, right? All of these events.
Yes.
Okay.
And then December, it will be here in Naples, in Florida.
So people can join in if they want to. They can.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so they just have to go on your website.
Yes, and we DJ as well. We will be able to dance all together.
And
chanting, dancing, silence, stillness, knowledge.
And if someone cannot make the actual physical journey, they can join you online?
I am not certain. I'd like to create this program really physically.
Okay, yeah, I think so. I think being in your presence is the magical part of the whole experience, right? And the fact that we can now do that again after 2.5 years is so exciting. Well, I want to say thank you for sharing such an amazingly insightful and as you said before, awareness is the most important part of being human, and consciousness and we didn't even get into talking about consciousness and subconsciousness. That'll be another journey for us to share together, but I do think you did cover so much ground today to help people who are struggling today. And I don't mean to go negative, but we know what's happening, and we know how much help that there needs to be, and how much spirituality will play a role in people's belief system to cure and heal. So
the perfect word, belief system. We must change our beliefs. Yes. It's a must. Yes. There's no choice. It's a choiceless choice now. Change our beliefs. It's a must. Because the old paradigm is gone. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit in it anymore. Don't hang in there anymore. Don't resent anymore. Step into the new you, the newness of you. The new paradigm awaits you with tremendous possibilities. I mean, tremendous.
And so much of it comes from your thinking as well as your heart. I mean,
from the beliefs. It's from the beliefs that maybe you have received from your mother, who received from her mother, who received from her mother. It's not valid today.
Mm-hmm.
So new paradigm, beliefs will always exist. But what is the belief that you choose to live in everyday life today?
So would you leave us with one prayer, a simple prayer that we can all just have to say goodbye?
Welcome love in your life. Let us together welcome love. Let us share love. Let us welcome all that we are as the I am presence. We are light. We are magnificent. We are the glorious. We have a sovereignty in our being. Let us welcome this together, hold hands together, heart in heart, and create this vortex, this portal of love, of light, of consciousness to be and serve the planet and each other. It's with deep, deep love, great, great gratitude that I welcome you all in my heart. We are one. Blessings.
Thank you so much. Well, I cannot say anything further. I'm crying right now, actually, and I know that's probably not appropriate for me as the host, but I have to say I am so touched by you and by that prayer. So I leave you all today with the blessings that you've just received, and I hope that you have the most beautiful day and the most beautiful experience of life. And thank you again, Her Holiness Sai Maa.
My love for you is immeasurable. My respect for you immense. You're ageless. as timeless, lace and fineness your beauty had.